This is where I get rambly about books. I'm Jack, this is Red Book Joy, and today is a reading ramble. A reading ramble is my catch-all term when I don't have one specific topic to talk to you about. Sometimes I end up on more time on one topic than another, but we'll see how we get on. But I'm going to talk to you a bit about recent things I've been doing and reading. I'll talk to you about some events that are coming up that you might be interested in joining for, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about some recommended channels as well, because I did the booktuber bio tag, or at least I filmed it. I didn't publish it because I filmed it. And the booktuber bio tag is the video where you introduce yourself and talk a bit about yourself. And I thought it would be quite ideal to do because I had a number of new subscribers in the last few weeks. Welcome everybody who's new. And I wanted to kind of do a bit of an introduction for new people and to welcome them to the channel. And I thought it might be quite nice to have that, you know, on your landing page on your channel as well for new people who might want to subscribe. So I started doing the booktuber bio tag, and it was all sort of questions like, you know, tell us about who are you, how long have you been on booktube, what kind of books do you like to read, that kind of thing. And I was doing it and I did the whole video, and I'm gonna have to say right now, I felt I was being really boring. And one of the things which was really difficult was name 3 books that you have reviewed on your channel that represent you as a reader. And I was like, that is impossible. That is absolutely impossible. I can't do that. And then I just thought, well, no, I'll do my own literary self-portrait and I'll talk about myself through books. And that's what I did. And I think I enjoyed that a lot more. And I think it told you a bit more about me as a reader. And it was a way of talking about my life without it not being linked to books, because I felt like I was just talking about me and how long I've been on booktube and all those things. It's just like, la 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 la. It kind of, I watched it back and I was bored watching myself. I spared you from that. But there are a couple of questions in it that I do want to do. I did want to talk about, because one of them was to name 3 booktubers you think need more hype. And I am going to do that. And I'm going to do that here. I thought of at least 3 that I'm going to mention now, but there are a couple more that I'd like to mention as well. And these are all booktubers who, well, at the time that I wrote this down, when I started filming the booktuber bio tag, they all had under 500 subscribers, and I suspect that most of them still do, or that they have maybe just hit the 500 mark. Definitely going to mention Danny from Danny's Book World and Ange from Angie's Book Chatter, because they are 2 of my best friends, and they are both under 500 subscribers. And that is because I think Danny had a channel and she had more subscribers, and then she decided she didn't want to do booktube anymore and deleted her channel, but then she decided she wanted to come back. So anyway, Danny's lovely. Go and watch Danny's channel. I'm going to link everybody in the description box, of course. Ange from Angie's Book Chatter is just so wonderful and thoughtful and funny, and I love her to bits. And she has under 500 subscribers, and Ange goes through periods where she, you know, life gets in the way, like it does for all of us, and so she didn't post for most of last year, and the algorithm really doesn't like that, I think. Oh, and also Angela from Reading Off My Shelf, she's also very lovely, and she has under 500 subs. But the people I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit more length because they're lovely people, and I've been watching them lately, and I have to say, if you are a new channel that I've been watching, if you don't see me watching you very often, I am someone who watches in bursts. I do booktube binges, so I might not watch every single day, because if I did, I would do no reading. So what I'll do is I'll do a booktube binge, and I'll go back and check out people's videos. So often quite often there's quite a lot of people that I'm following, so I might not be able to watch more than your most recent video, but I do like a booktube binge every now and again. So one is Ali from A Genteel Black Hole. I love Ali's channel. Ali is really interesting, and he does amazingly thoughtful reviews, very intelligent, and reads a whole range of things. But of course, A Genteel Black Hole is a Terry Pratchett quote, and that is what he's called his channel. He's a huge Pratchett fan, and that's how we've connected. And Ali does lots of eclectic reading, much like myself. Most recently, I've seen him review Chekhov. I've seen him review Pratchett. I've seen him review Thomas Hardy. So yeah, and he talks about all sorts of things, like what he's listening to, what he's watching, that kind of thing. And he's also challenged himself to write a haiku every week. I think it's every week, but he publishes his haikus for the month, and they're always really, really good. So yeah, that's Ali. Ali's wonderful, and Ali only has 166 subscribers, which is criminal, really. Another person who is amazing, and I have talked about briefly, published a community post, but I don't think anyone sees community posts, but that is Nick. And Nick's channel is Dr. Cranky Pants Reads, and Nick puts so much effort into his videos, and his videos, I'm not kidding, are some of the funniest things I've seen on YouTube in this past year. Absolutely hilarious, really imaginative, very funny, and he has a green screen. He does all sorts of things. So yeah, go and watch Nick's channel. And then the other person that I really love watching, and he's just got such a lovely, gentle presence, is Alex from Alex Unabridged. And Alex has a very similar reading taste to me. I just love his kind of the way he just talks about books. He's really gentle and thoughtful, and he's also publishing the there's a compilation of writing by booktubers and author tubers, which is published by Ollie at Criminolly. It's like Trash Tales, I think they call it, because it's like based on Garb August, and he's a publisher, so he and Ollie are publishing Trash Tales together. So yeah, Alex is wonderful. The other person I want to mention here is someone who watches me so much and always comments and is so lovely, and that is Stuart Griffin. And Stuart is also equally a wonderful person, and I urge you to go over and check out Stuart's channel as well. Oh, and Elaine from Cobalt Dragon. Elaine has lots of lovely footage of her cats as well, and you know I like a cat. If you've been around here for a while, you know I like a cat. So I would go and check out all of those people and subscribe to them if you like their content. Don't go and subscribe to them and not watch them. Go and watch them, subscribe if you like their content, because what I've discovered in the last couple of years is if you subscribe to people and don't watch them, it's worse than not subscribing to them. So don't just give them the follow numbers, you actually have to watch them as well. So just check them out. If you like their content, then subscribe. But if you like my content, I suspect a lot of you will like a lot of them as well. And talking about new subscribers, welcome to all my new subscribers. It freaked me out a little bit to gain so many new subscribers in a short space of time, but welcome, you are very welcome. I had to give myself a good shake actually, because I was sitting there pondering my next video and thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for my next video? As if I needed to, I'm never going to hit the dizzying heights of the views that my last video got. But the video that gained me so many subscribers. And then I just realised, stop thinking about numbers. Numbers. This is why numbers are no good, you see. This is why numbers are not good for me to concentrate on, because it sort of thing worries me. So now I'm just back to just thinking about what I want to put out and how I'm going to put it out, and you know, like what I want to say on my videos, which is much more healthy. So yeah, welcome new subscribers. The good is gaining all these wonderful new people to chat to, and the bad is me concentrating on numbers unexpectedly, which I didn't want to do, but I'm not going to do that anymore. So the rest of this video, I just want to talk to you about some things that are coming up to make you aware of them. If you are not aware of the FOMO Book Club, which I run with my friend Gemma, we are currently reading Eragon with Christopher Paolini, and we will be doing a chat about it over on Gemma's channel at the end of the month. And we are our next book, and I'm going to put a picture up here because it fits in really nicely, is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, and we're reading that in May and June. So if you've not joined the FOMO Book Club and you'd like to know more details, we are going to do a Storygraph book club community thing, which you can join. I'm going to put a link in the description box because hopefully it'll be ready by the time this video goes out. If not, it'll be coming soon. But yes, you can join FOMO Book Club for any of the books that we're reading. We read one book every 2 months and we chat about it on a live stream on Gemma's channel, on my channel, and you can leave questions, thoughts, comments that we can discuss as well. The books have always been the best books of the year for me, my FOMO Book Club picks. I'm also still running Picture This with Shelley Swearingen. I've got a brilliant picture book that I read for Picture This, which I'm going to do a review of. Recent reads for me that I've got to do a review of are The Cafe in the Woods, which is just a wonderful picture book, and it's just one. I actually got it out of the library and then it was announced as the Waterstones Children's Book Prize winner. So that was good. That was a good bit of timing. So I'm going to do a full review of that book. I'm also going to do a review of Careless People, which was I just finished listening to, which is a memoir of an expose on Meta or Facebook from a woman who worked there at the top level for 7 years, and it is entirely shocking and also not entirely shocking. I'm going to do a review of that and a review of, unfortunately, She Was a Nymphomaniac, which is a history of the imperial women of the Julio-Claudian dynasty in Rome. So yeah, I want to review those, do full reviews for those. One book that I also finished reading recently that I'm not going to do a full review for is The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley, and it was a good book but not a great book, so I don't feel like I want to do a full review of it. But that is set in Victorian times, and it's interesting. It's got a bit of magical realism about it, but it is about a man who works for the civil service, and he comes home one day to find someone has left a mysterious watch in his flat, and he carries the watch around for some time, and the watch actually has a purpose, which I will spoil the story if I tell you, but it leads him to the watchmaker, and it's an interesting book. What I found about it was I really enjoyed Natasha Pulley's writing style. I thought it was a really intriguing book, and I was enjoying the book enough to finish it. However, I felt at points it was a bit too slow for me. Her characters were really interesting, though the watchmaker himself as a character, I felt could have been interesting to know a bit more about him. I get the idea that he was supposed to be this kind of mysterious character and everything, but yeah, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but yeah, good book, and I would read more by the author, but not a great book for me. A bit too slow, and some parts a little bit too confusing. I think she was trying to allude to certain things happening, but where maybe I was just being a bit dim, but it needed to be spelled out a bit more for me. But yeah, so those like sort of recent books that I've finished, and I'm going to be reading When Stars Are Scattered, which is a graphic novel memoir, and we're reading that for the Reading the Globe YA middle grade readathon that I'm hosting with Katja from Page Turners with Katja. So those are all sort of reading plans I've got for April. Oh, I'm also going to be reading God and Anatomy, which I finally got a copy of out of the library, and Gareth from Book Songs and Other Magic is hosting his bi-monthly Belief and Behaviour book club. So we're going to be reading that. I think this is the last month to read it. I think it was for March and April. So I've got a lot of catching up to do because it looks like quite a big book. I'm currently also reading A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, which is a read-along being hosted by my lovely friend Marilyn Maya Mendoza, and I love that book. If you've never read it, it's a 20th century American classic and just a wonderful coming-of-age story, and all about a young girl growing up in poverty in Brooklyn in 1912. And it's just a brilliant book. I haven't read it for years, and the reread is really bringing me a lot of joy. Yeah, the picture of Never Let Me Go was when I was in London last week and I saw Oedipus at the Old Vic, Rami Malek and Indira Varma, and brilliant performances, really interesting staging, a little bit too much modern dance for me, but it was still interesting. And I went to Salisbury the week before. Salisbury, the cathedral, is beautiful. So I'm going to leave some footage of all these things, but I did fall off the book buying bandwagon, fall off the wagon. I don't know. I bought some books, so I've really got to stop buying books again. I've let it creep back into my life because I've been trying to do a read what you own challenge, but I said I'm not doing a complete book buying ban, but I've again allowed my book buying to creep up to levels that I'm not happy with. So I bought a couple of books this week, and that is going to be it for me for a while, unless it's a book that I need for a project. But yeah, these were books that I picked up for like 50p, and I've also promised myself, like, if I do go to places, I am allowed to buy books as souvenirs, and these were on a bookstall that was in Salisbury in the town square, and they had, and I also am only looking for secondhand or really interesting books off the cuff. So yeah, this was a Mary Stewart book, and Mary Stewart wrote The Crystal Cave, and this sounds like a really interesting book. I think it's about a girl whose auntie is a witch, I think, and then a random Daphne du Maurier I'd never heard of. Look at this, Rule Britannia. The Americans seize England and one woman defies them, and the Americans land in Cornwall, and yeah, they have to fight them off. This sounds so random, but because I have my Southwest Stories project, I was like, this is one I've never heard of, and it's Daphne du Maurier, and it's weird. It's like a Daphne du Maurier speculative fiction book, which is really bizarre. The other thing that I bought, I went to London a few weeks back and went to a place called Foster Books in Chiswick High Street, and I was filming in there, and because they let me film in there, I couldn't not buy a book. So they were really lovely, really beautiful antiques bookshop, and they had a £2 bargain bookshelf, and they had this Laurie Lee book. So I was like, oh, I'll get the Laurie Lee. And so I got home about a week, and a week later I'm like, I'm going to put it onto my cataloguing app, and I couldn't see a barcode, so I went to look inside for the ISBN number, which was also on the bottom right hand corner, and I didn't spot it, and I saw this, and I thought, that cannot be Laurie Lee's signature. And it is. I looked up Laurie Lee's signature. That is Laurie Lee's signature. So their bargain bookshelf, this was on the £2 bargain bookshelf in an antiques and rare books bookshop, and I don't think they meant that to be there, but That never happens to me. I mean, does that ever happen to you? Have you been able to, have you ever found something in a secondhand book you weren't expecting to find? Let me know in the comments, because I love stories like that. Yeah, the other place I went to was Porlock in Somerset, which is just a beautiful town. We went over Exmoor and just took a day trip there, and randomly they had a hotel there, and the hotel was advertising a murder mystery night, and the theme was Alice, which just was like, wow, because my friend Alice was just a huge mystery fan, and it was the start of March, so it was like, or it was the middle of March, so it was like March mystery madness was happening. I was thinking about Alice a lot, and then I went past this place and I was like, wow, they're doing like a murder mystery night theme, and the theme was Alice. So yeah, interesting. Anyway, that's enough of a ramble. If you've got any questions about any of the events coming up, if you want to ask me anything, if you have never been here before and you like this rambling nonsense, maybe think about subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you again here soon. Bye.